any second. All right, so this is John. We did a live last week. So I wanted to make this video analysis. It's a song. And it's about 4 minutes. So I'm going to get this going as long as I can share the screen. Wow, it's just annoying. Like when you try to figure something out, it really can get aggravating because I try to share a screen and I haven't done this much, so it's kind of frustrating. That's all.
It's all good.
What do I do here? Oh, now I figured it out. All right. Here we go. About to play this from the beginning. All right, here we go. I'm gonna.
I can hear it.
Was a wild child, played on my own rules. Stubborn as a motherfucker, I don't wanna go to school. Mad class is boring. Recess is no news. I just wanna chill and have fun like the movie dudes. Yes, I did, and I never gave in. With my back to the wind and the roof of your grin. I was out for the stand where I wanted I win. When they told me I'd lose, I just told them I'd win. I snuck out of class, headed down the road, ventured on home, called me Indiana home. Said I'd never look back. I just set my own path. I don't need a game plan. I can get my own path till girl meets boy and boy meets girl. Never would have thought that she would change his world. I remember that day when we met up in the rain. She just looked me in the eyes and she said one thing. Show me love. It's got your hand on a button down. Showing love. It's got your hand on a button. Don't you see what I am? See what I'm doing? This is my life. Don't you see what I've ruined? Drown my gifts, drop my faith. You got my dream. I've lost my way, and there's nobody to blame, nobody to call to. Eyes don't find what the fuck did I involve you? Ready as I am, I will never get the chance to show you what I dreamt, cause you never understand. I'm a cowboy by night, fighter by the day. If I can find a saloon, I can find my way. Earn my living with my outlaw winnings. I can spend it all with me, but I just can't stay. Now everything's gone, everything's lost. Promises to God, I paid my cost. Never would have thought that she'd ever let us go, but she missing in my heart. I can feel it in my soul, my soul, my soul. Show me love. It's got your hand on the button now. Showing love. It's got your hand on the button. What's wrong? Who cares? So long, cold shit. I've been wrong about everything you owe me. And if I had another chance to try it on again, then you know you'd be looking at the old me. So if there's anything left, anything at all, let me write that song. Let it put you in my arms. I can see you a star. Please don't shoot. Please, at the least, let me speak my truth. Too little, too late. She whispered in the wind. Wish you never left. It shouldn't be the end. She always on my mind when I'm thinking in my zone. When there's nothing left to drink and I'm sitting here alone. The cards are on the table. The odds are looking grim. Indebted to regret. There's no profit in the win. I told her what she meant. Just hope she remembers that. I sent her with a prayer, but she never wrote a letter back.
Yeah. All right. That was it. Thank you for listening to that, man.
I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty cool. So
Yeah.
when you listen to it, how does it speak to you?
Well, as I was listening to it more often, I started to think about my life in general, like the opportunities that I've had, whether I missed them or I, took advantage of the opportunities that were in front of me. It because he talks about if I could do it all again, he might have done things differently. And I guess you could say that it deals with regret in some kind of way, but I think there's a positive message to be found though. I don't know. Like if you think about it the way I said, it kind of sounds negative, like regretting opportunities. That's kind of what came to mind. I'm not sure what you
It's
thought of it.
perfectly fine to be like, critical of things and, like what could have been. I'll give you a personal story with me. Last year when I moved, we wanted to find a way to be able to try to stay in Wisconsin because we like living there. We had a beautiful apartment. But the issue was I couldn't find a job. And I was, Steve, I went into a lot of debt, like a lot of debt. And I realized I had to either move because here's the thing, Steve. I heard this voice in my head around this time. I believe it was when you had the Sun, Uranus, and Taurus. I believe last year around that time, where I had seriously like around. It was in the early spring. It's you guys need to move. It's around this time. You guys need to move now. Like go to Massachusetts. It's better for you there. And we try to basically hold it out in here. So the issue that I'm trying to say, Steve, is that there are so many possibilities of what could have been that you don't want to spend too much time being lost in the past. That's nostalgia. Nostalgia can be helpful, but at the same time, it can basically disable you and drown you.
Yeah, because there's a lot. I think there's different ways to interpret that song. You probably never heard it, so I don't know if any lyrics stuck out to you. But we talk about like the cowboy energy and being out and doing stuff, being active. I don't know, because we talk about it. That's why I wanted to show you the song because I think you said like it maybe you may have experienced some of that cowboy energy. So
yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it is. It feels like I'm kind of on my own. I mean, that's Saturn and Aries conjunct the South Node because Saturn. The thing I realized about Saturn, Steve, and Aries, you can't control people's emotions. That's why it's in fall. Does that make sense? It's like Aries is the warrior. It's an identity. It's like when you can't really stop it from doing things. And, that's why in the coming years, in general, like, people feel like they want to be more breakaway against the system. That's why it's at fall.
Yeah.
I actually got that from David Palmer. I just want to put it out there. I was watching his video earlier, and I take full responsibility for him for that. But that's what I was watching. So
yeah, I learned a lot from him right away because he just goes into a lot of depth when it comes to outer planets and outer transits that are coming up and predicting what's going to happen.
Hey Steve, why don't you tell what the moon's in right now? Why don't you give us a Vedic chart of the day, so to speak?
Okay, so if I could find where the moon sign is, because it'd be helpful if I could share it like on a screen if I could find that. So, Vedic moon sign now. Yeah, it's let's see. Well, I know that it's in Cancer right now just by me speaking, just by knowing where it is. Wow, most charts will just have it in Western. It doesn't really go into Vedic. Hold on. Wow. But one thing I was thinking about, John, is when you talk about those relocation planets, I kind of wanted to know what exactly your degree is, because you showed me mine where in Omaha. I kind of wanted to see where mine was in Arizona and
Sure.
how yours is now, because I
Yeah.
wanted because I know yours was starting in Capricorn, and you said it moved into Aquarius with Western, but
I mean, here's the thing. Don't obviously move to a place because it looks nice. I mean, you should also have an intuition too. But I'll give you another example too. So talking about Cowboys, I actually thought about moving up to Montana, Steve. I actually did a
oh
relocation trip
wow.
for Montana because I wanted to see. And my ascendant would be in Sagittarius over the south, and it'll be close to my south node, trining it. And the Sabian symbol was something to do with an immigrant trying to prove his worth to the community. And that would make sense because, when you're in a very rural area, it's a very tight knit, very, very like they don't like outsiders, so to speak. And I feel like I'd always be having to try to get my way in. They wouldn't really trust me fully. That's an example, and then I thought, okay, obviously, moving, going. I don't think that I'm meant to go out. I mean, maybe I will go out to the west side. I feel called, but right now, I just don't think it's a good idea, in my opinion.
For you, I think maybe not. I think for me, it could be good. Let me explain. If you look at Vedic, if I move out east, I would be in, just based off Vedic, I would actually move into Cancer. I would, so in many ways, like, yes, and if you look at it in Western, I would be a Leo. It would be more about shining on. But if you look at the nakshatra, it's in Pushya, which is all about nurturing.
Interesting. Yeah.
So I would be every time I go out east, you know, if you look at your relocation charts, your ascendant in astrology it would shift over to, a different sign, like 15 degrees forward. Pushya is more about nurturing, but if you look at the nakshatras, I'm in, Punarvasu is the one before that. If I went out west of California, I would be somewhere in Gemini. I think that would be where I would be able to network the best and be able to.
Well, that also going back on the relocation chart. Remember, you have Jupiter and then the Sun. Aligns running. I have Pluto and then the Sun, so I have to go through transformation, and when I do, it's in public, pretty much. So if I can transform, I will get success. But if I also fuck up, so probably to my friends.
You're good.
If I mess up and I end up, like not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, everyone will know about it. It's a giant blow up. It's kind of like when you walk into a wedding drunk and you're a wedding crasher. Are you going to be drunk? Or are you going to fit in? Like, that's pretty much what it is. And so for you, I believe your Jupiter's first and then your Sun, kind of like that. So you would, again, like you said, if you were connected with a group that wanted you to move out west, that'll be good. But yeah, I mean, the problem with Gemini too is like, for you, Steve, I just feel like with you like to be genuine. You're not. It's hard for you to be two-faced, so to speak. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. I wanted to say, if you just, I like to bring on Vedic, so I'm a Gemini ascendant at 24 degrees. But if you look at the nakshatra, wow, I wish I could just show. I kind of wanted to share my screen because this is gonna be very helpful.
All the more, man. I'm gonna go check out. You should always be checking your YouTube chat as well too to see if people respond.
Oh yeah, I don't think I see anything yet.
It's all good. Probably gonna. I swear, probably gonna go down. So, apologize.
Let's see if I could. Yeah. So here we go, John. I want to just share this. So look at the moon right here. It's in 7 degrees of Cancer for Vedic right now. So you kind of wanted to see that. Like, this just shows you where all the signs are. The Sun would be right in Taurus. But what I really want to do is show you the nakshatras, because I went into them before. Just type in nakshatras. $27 of them. Huh? Yeah. So like I said, my moon, no, not my moon, my ascendant is right here in Punarvasu, which is all about return of the light. That's why I'm kind of a light being out here. It's kind of like, it's in Gemini, but it's also moving into Cancer. So it's not as much about the whole aspect of Gemini. Right before that's a storm. It's Ardra. But right after Ardra, it comes Punarvasu, It's like after the storm comes the light.
Yes, exactly. That's where, again, that's like where isn't that where the summer equinox is too?
Summer equinox, I would say that's more, where's that? Kind of like around early Gemini, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because that's where, it kind of gets confusing if you compare it to Vedic to Western, but yeah, here it is, a ray of light, a gem. And it's also the mother. So when you're talking about mother of the gods, you're talking about feminine energy. So right here where I am, the reason I don't do a lot, like based on, if let's say you have your ascendant in Punar Vasu, it's going to be more of a feminine role because it's literally it's ruled by the mothers. So that's why I have a hard time here based off that energy to be masculine and go out and do stuff. And let's just say I moved to Boston, then it would still be in Cancer. It'd still be a lot of more feminine, nurturing energy.
Yeah.
What I could see though, for example, if I moved out to, let me see, California or anywhere out west, or if I go further out west, like I was in Omaha, Nebraska, actually, it gets different. So Ardra is more of the storm. It'd be more chaotic. And then for you, I'm curious where yours is exactly, because I could see where your ascendant is in Boston or in wherever you are.
Again, I believe, my birth time I keep flip-flopping on because I keep going with different times. But there were two Sabian symbols. One was that a man hatched out of an egg. That makes sense for me because ever since I came to Boston, I started growing up as a father. Yeah. I grew up very white collar, so to speak. I didn't know how to do certain menial tasks because I never really was around that stuff. I had a lot of people clean for me and stuff in general.
Yeah.
That's why it's really good for that. Now, what am I going with? And so the other one was, I can't remember, I don't remember what the other Sabian symbol was. I talked when I went on Robert Phoenix's live. I actually chatted for a bit. It was a very strong one, but basically I'll bring a lot of innovation and change, and so it's really helpful with that. But here's the thing, after a while, you revert back to your old self, it's just how you are perceived in general, which can be very helpful.
What I like to do more than anything is, after I look at the astrology and all the details, I like to see how it makes sense in real life, like visuals. So when I see myself as a light being. Because I'm in the sun, it's like that's who I'm meant to be based off my ascendant. And for you, if you know your birth time, I think, and you sent it to me, I could tell you the nakshatra of your ascendant where you are in Boston. I think that'd be really helpful.
I would like to.
All you have to do is tell me the degree. All you have to do is tell me the degree of Aquarius, because I think you're an Aquarius ascendant out there. You just have to tell me the degree. And I'm
10:19 a.m. That's my birth time.
Yeah, but the relocation chart, because I don't know you know how to do that.
I'm gonna bring it up.
If you know your ascendant, if you know how to get it, then tell me. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll share my screen now. Let me get this on. I should have Gabby watch this. She'd probably find this interesting.
You're the same exact birthday. I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, my daughter was supposed to be born on my birthday too, Steve. November 27th.
That would have been just too much. I think that's insane if that would.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, she came when she was supposed to come, and I'm happy for her that she lived.
Oh yeah.
But,
I think So. I'll tell you exactly the nakshatra of your ascendant.
All right, let me get this up. So 10:19 a.m. Okay, I was born in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I went to Boston. All right, let's see what happens now. Let's see. Here we go.
Really interesting. Wow.
Relocation. 10 degrees of Aquarius. That's what it is.
All right. I can tell you that. Okay. Once you get to 10 degrees. Wow. Okay, that makes sense. That's the nakshatra, and I'll literally go into detail, or I'll tell you what that nakshatra is. It's called Shadabhishak. It's called 100 medicines. It's the healer. It's the healer energy. And it deals right in the middle of Aquarius, so that's humanitarian. It's like I'm going to heal the world with 100 medicines, 100 physicians, and we're going to hold it in place. It's all this static energy in it. Air. Think about air. It holds all the static energy, and it heals. It also deals with a little bit of water, because if you know, Aquarius is like the water bearer, and Shadabhishak deals with. I can totally see that with you, John. I really can, because you have that kind of healing energy. I can sense it.
Well, I just feel like with me, I can, and I want to say this too, going back with Weston as well too. It's because it's in the first house. It's very close to my Saturn in the South Node in Aries, because first house is Aries. So I feel like with my ascendant trining my North Node, with part of it being over the South Aries, I'm much more of a networker. You've seen me, Steve. My son's in the 11th house. I like to network with people.
Yes.
And well, I'll tell you, in the 10th house. But I want to be a network.
Right.
I want to be the guy who knows the guy.
You're in 11th.
Yes, and I feel like with in Chicago with Capricorn. Okay, I have a question. Let's ask you this, Steve. Someone with an ascendant in Capricorn in the 12th house versus someone with an Aquarius in the first house. How would you describe that person? Let's go.
Ascendant. So we'll go back. So you said ascendant Capricorn in the 12th.
Yes. Okay. Yes, because it'll be at 20 degrees, be right around here. That's why I'm in Chicago in the Midwest. How would you describe that as a person?
Well, okay. 12th house, because the ascendant, that makes it tough, because the ascendant's usually the first house, but you're basing it off the relocation, right? Okay.
Yeah, no. This is my original, where I was born in Chicago. Right here, look, Steve, look at my screen. Ascendant, 20 degrees Capricorn. When I move out, it's 10 degrees Aquarius.
Yeah.
So my ascendant in Chicago is right around here. See what I'm saying? When I'm out in Chicago. If you were to describe that as a person and say your ascendant is in the 12th house in Capricorn, how would you describe that person?
Well, first of all, let me just be clear. It wouldn't be, at that point, it wouldn't be your ascendant, because the ascendant's always first house. But let me, I get what you're saying. I get what you're trying to say. That position, according to where your new ascendant, your relocation is.
Yes.
So that would be more, you're releasing, because that's 12th house. You're just releasing it. So it's like you don't need it anymore. It doesn't serve you anymore. So that's what I kind of think of you, because like you once had a role here where you were active, like we would do things, and now your energy has moved on from this area. Your whole family structure, it's changed, because you've let go of a lot of family dynamics, a lot of things here that you used to do, and it's kind of like you've had to mature if you go out there. It's like you stepping into a new role, growing up, maturing. Doesn't mean you're like decaying. It means you're mastering certain
also, if you think about it, Steve, in Wisconsin you get very like nice, sweet, reserved people, while in Boston people are very upfront. They're very fighty. Like New York, same way. New York City's the same way. They're very in your face, very, very kind of aggressive, so to speak.
Well, that's kind of weird, because Chicago, if you look at Chinese astrology, it's a rooster, and roosters just fight. So I think in Chicago, some people are they're kind of hard. They like to fight.
Milwaukee's the same way too. Milwaukee people, they're like Boston. They're very, very, they're very not very nice people, so to speak. They can be very kind of rude and pushy. But like I just always saw myself. I don't know. It's very interesting,
Yeah,
I just find that fascinating. So by the way, okay, in Vedic astrology, what is the nakshatra for 20 degrees of Capricorn?
Okay, yeah, well, first of all, it's in Sag. I told you in Vedic, you're a Sag ascendant, Sagittarius.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I'm around my family. And there's nothing wrong with that. But like, I'm kind of like just trying to go off and just be goofy and have fun. Just enjoy life.
Well, you have it. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's in Uttara Ashada, which is all about the later victory. So that's what it is. Like, it's all about being successful in having that victory in life by, following a certain principle. Like if you work out over time, you can get strong. It's anything. So that's what the ascendant is. I do see that with you because you do get up early. Even like when I knew you growing up, you were kind of that guy that was like, let's get up at 6 a.m. and go for a run. Let's go.
Yeah,
And
I do it all the time. When I wanted to, I was committed to. I was very committed to doing a lot of stuff. I would do it all the time.
You could have been like, I'm not saying you could have, but I'm saying you have the capability to be very good, a master of your craft based off that energy and whatever you commit to. That's what that nakshatra is about. If you commit and follow through with the process, you become really, really good at something. Mm-hmm. It's so
helpful.
My Neptune is there. I think your Neptune would be there as well, because if you look at Neptune, you got it at 29 Capricorn, or mine's at like 28 Capricorn. If you look at Vedic, that's Uttara Ashada. So I dream of accomplishment. I dream of being fulfilled and being successful in something. That's the Neptune is. It's your subconscious. It's like what your dream is about. But Vedic, it just shows you the energies. But I was talking about the West Coast too, or I would say Arizona as well. I always thought of Arizona. Every time I went to Arizona, I actually really liked it, John. It's like,
all right, well, let's look. Let's try. Okay, you got to pick though. Let's look up a map of Arizona. Let's look this up. Where in Arizona do you feel intuitively called to?
Exactly where I was. I was in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is right by Phoenix. So you can either say Phoenix. I would say Scottsdale. It's right by Phoenix.
Let's take a look at this right here. Okay. So I don't know if you can see this, but let's see. Can I make this bigger? Let's see. Hopefully I can. It's going to, of course, take with Amazon, but maybe it might be big enough. Let's see. Okay. You can kind of see it, right? Okay. So here's Phoenix. Okay. Where would Scottsdale be, Steve?
Scottsdale's like a little bit down. I think it's like right below Phoenix. So it's just like a few minutes away.
So it's like South Phoenix, right?
Yeah, if you want to do the relocation chart, you can see where my ascendant would be in Scottsdale.
I wanted to just get a map of it. Okay, so actually, you know what? I'll use Google Maps. Easy enough. Okay, so Steve, you know what you should do, Steve? Let's go to the relocation chart because then I want to see what you say. Okay. So let me wait for it to load. I'm excited. Yeah. Honestly, Steve, you should really consider just renting an Airbnb and just spending like a weekend out there and just seeing if you like it. So
there's a lot of good energy out there, actually.
What did you? Oh, I forgot to tell you. So my parents were considering actually going to Arizona as well too. They took a picture and it looked like a giant intergalactic spaceship in the background. I'm not even joking. And I've heard stuff about that too. I heard that the Southwest is going to be one of the safe areas, quote unquote, and one of like the places where like humanity might thrive. Wisconsin as well too. I know that Jade told me that around the Baraboo area that might be very safe during when all the earthquakes and catalysms. But it won't happen until like the 2030s. So, but like I really think Steve, like, okay, what's your birthday? Let's do this first. What's your birthday?
Yeah, it's August 10th of 1997.
Let me get it. And what's your time again?
It's 3:27 a.m.
Okay. So Chicago then.
Scottsdale, Chicago first.
And then Scottsdale, Arizona. Let's do it. Let's see. Here we go.
Is that Arizona you put in?
Yes, Arizona. I did. Yes. All right. So your is in Gemini, 20 degrees. And let's bring it up. Sabian symbol, Gemini, 20 degrees.
Are you sure it's 20 degrees? You said okay.
Yes, Gemini 20 degrees.
In Vedic, that's actually Taurus. No wonder, because I felt very whole out there.
All right, let's look this up. So Sabian symbols. Here we go. Ready? Let's see what they say. Because I always like doing Sabian symbols. They're really helpful.
20.
Okay.
Gemini.
So let's see. 23, 22. All right, here we go. A modern cafeteria displays an abundance of food, products of various regions.
I feel whole. What did I just tell you? I feel whole out there. It's like
Yep.
It's like I'm not starving out there. That's a good way to put it. I'm not starving. I don't feel like I'm lacking satiation. I feel like when you're out there. It's just good energy. It's full.
Steve, you know what? You should rent out an Airbnb, and I recommend you just spend a weekend out there. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, well, right now, rent's insanely high. I would definitely advise anyone in general, I'm just saying this in general, to not really go out and try things. With Saturn and Neptune and Aries, things are going to be really, really loud. They're going to be really chaos. So if you have a secure place and you have your family, hunker down. But Steve, I think when Saturn goes into Taurus, man, you should definitely try to go out there and be there if you can.
Well, I had a vision that, my vision, I actually saw myself out there in a vision. And it doesn't have to be overnight, but I'm just saying, I do see it because it's warm. I like being in warm energies, and it's very good. And you're never going to be freezing cold in Arizona, really.
Yeah, I wonder why the weather events are going to change that. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how long that would take, but.
Well, yeah, it's a decade. I'm saying in general, but Steve, again, I think that, I don't know, if you can find a way to, get in, a small studio apartment, bro, there's a lot of off-grid communities, too, by the way, in Arizona. I know there's a lot of, spaceship and alien stuff. That's right up your alley.
Well, there's a lot of how I am. I like to be outside and hike, and there's a lot of good hiking trails. You're out in the outdoors. And Chinese. Let me say this. You guess what the Chinese sign is for Arizona? It's really interesting.
Tell me.
It's a snake, which is really good for the ox and the rooster. So, if you look at Chinese astrology, you have enemy signs or opposite signs, and then you got friend signs. So the snake is really good friends with the ox. It's kind of like Taurus. If you base it off Western as well, you're going to see Taurus and Virgo, because Virgo is the 6th sign and the snake is the 6th sign. I'm an ox, which is kind of like Taurus. It wants to feel whole. It wants to feel satiated. It's about creation and abundance. And when you're out there, and there's a lot of that good energy. It's a snake. I'm not sure. I think Boston's a horse. I'm not sure.
It is. I do really like Boston, though. It's really cool. It's a really cool city. There's so much interesting stuff. But I'm gonna say, Steve, again, I make it a bucket list. Seriously, just run an Airbnb out there, maybe for a week if you can, and you should try to figure out, attaching yourself. I mean, if you can find a way to be able to afford a tiny studio, do it. I mean, and then you can network with people. Because here's the thing I want to say. You want to make sure that you're around like-minded people, and certain places have more like-minded people. I like New Hampshire because it's a ground monkey. It's an earth monkey. So people there are very innovative, but they're also very traditional. It's weird. It's basically Uranus and Taurus, pretty much. Aquarius, Taurus. People there are very much free and independent, and they're very independent thinking, and that's what I like.
No wonder. Because I was thinking, there's a lot of, where you are, New Hampshire is probably better for you because it's a monkey, and monkeys.
But Wisconsin's a water monkey. That's different. See, a water monkey, people in Wisconsin they're more conformists. Because with water, they're more into each other's emotions. They don't really have much sustenance to it. Do you understand what I'm saying? They do have a very strong social identity. Very, very. If you screw with people in Wisconsin, they're like Texans. They'll go after you. However, they're not. They don't really stick up for themselves. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah. But I wanted to add something. So, the monkey also for America is really good because it was founded in a monkey year. So if anyone's born in the year of the monkey, or you're in a city that's a monkey, it's extra good because of the country's founded in that year. It's the energy. But I want to also say 2016, I felt monkey. Very good. That was the monkey year. There was something going on during that time where everything felt very peaceful. It felt very, very soothing and a lot of harmony. And I remember that.
I wonder what the election will be like in 2028, because that's the next monkey. In fact, let's actually look this up. What kind of monkey is in 2028? Let's see.
Well, you can
What
you
kind
can already tell. I know what it is. It's
What
an
is it?
Earth monkey. Every 8, it's an
Oh
Earth.
wow! So you know what? Here's what I think. So I was actually saying this, and I read this guy who was basically saying every time in Western astrology, I'm going to go into politics with it because it's interesting. Every time Pluto was in a sign, that's like an administration. So when Pluto was in Capricorn, that was from 2008 until really now, it was basically Biden and Obama, the whole demoralization of America. Now with it being in Aquarius, now you have the MAGA movement, for better or for worse, whether you like it or not. That's what it is. And with America, every time that America has elections with a monkey sign, they get a very strong leader. Same thing with China. Xi Jinping took power during the year of the snake. But unfortunately, sometimes, Steve, some Chinese animals don't do well on their home sign because it magnifies it, right? Yeah. Rats generally don't like getting along with other rats. New York City is a rat.
They're also kind of emotional. They can get kind of whiny sometimes. I know.
Exactly. Because then it's like putting two stooges next to each other. They end up fighting. They end up like cancer. They start disagreeing and causing problems. New York City is a rat. I don't think I would do that well in New York City. I just don't think it would be a good idea. I think it would just
it doesn't seem to have the best of energy in general when everything is all crammed together. I kind of sense that as an entity out in New York it's so.
You know that thing remember that SpongeBob clip? You know, you wake up, driving to work. You going tonight, honey? Yes, hon. That's exactly New York.
Wow, yeah.
Literally in a nutshell.
Oh man, that's definitely true.
I don't think I would ever really want to go, but here's my thing. For me, Steve, maybe it's me because I have a gravitation towards power in general. My question that I want to ask is actually, you know what? I want to do one I'll do it later.
Before this,
I want to be a part of the New Earth community, like a New Earth thing, and I don't want to be the first wave of protesters, but I still want to be surrounded by that area, and that's something that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
There's no real way to tell where it's going to be, but
no. But I think the Earth Monkey 2028 will be interesting because America is a monkey nation. There's always something big in America in a monkey year. So
yeah. I wonder if we'll get someone like an actual integrable candidate instead of all these clowns who don't know what the heck they're doing.
What I want to do before I forget is look at our relocation charts, and I'm going to tell you the nakshatra. So if I can share my screen, I want to show you.
Do it.
The nakshatra for your ascendant out in Boston.
What is it?
Shada Bishak. So, or Shada Bisha, however you want to say it. You look at this empty circle or 1,000 flowers or stars, but really what it is it's a healer. Remember I said 100 medicines or 100 healers? Well, there it is right there. 100 healers. And wow, look at this. Harsh in speech, but honest and truthful. Wow, I see that in you. Sometimes you could be harsh. That's why I'm like, damn, that was harsh. But then you're very truthful. Independent ways. An empty circle. It's just independent nature, autonomy through this mansion. Interesting.
Expands to this lunar mansion. This lunar mansion can also be a challenging birth star for early marriage. Because again, you don't care. Hey, does this dress make me look fat? Yes, it does.
That's it.
You don't give a. You just you exactly.
Look at the ruler. It's Rahu. So that's the north node.
That sounds crazy. So that's exactly it. And that's
Rahu. It's very determined. It wants to learn things. It's very interested in and kind of obsessed to get to the truth. That's Rahu.
Well, okay. Why don't you do it Why don't you do it for the 20 degrees Capricorn? I want to see what you think of that. I want to compare the two because I'm curious.
Yeah, and then before I do that, I just want to say the god of the celestial waters, and it's called Varuna because everything has a deity. For you, because you're on the cusp, John. What makes it really interesting about your ascendant?
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize that it goes. You're on the cusp of Purva and Uttara Ashada, but I think when I looked up your chart, I have it right here. I'm gonna check it because I have it listed in my right on my phone because it's on an app. I'm going to make sure because you got to be precise in Vedic because 1 degree, 1/10 of a degree can change everything.
So wait, hold on, wait a minute. Okay. I travel a lot in multiple places. See, look up a map of New England. Just say, look up New England, okay? Just pull up a map.
Map of
Pull up a new tab. Open a new tab and just type in map of New England because I want to tell you this. I want to show you exactly because I don't want. I might be going different places, but I want to because if I'm on the cusp, it could be like you said, it could be massive. So let's look at this. Okay, now pick up anyone. Okay, middle one. Okay, do you see the Atlantic Ocean, Steve, on the right?
Let me zoom in.
Okay,
yeah,
move your mouse to the left, to the right.
Wait, this is as big as it goes.
No, I'm saying, yeah, right there. Okay, keep your mouse. Now move your mouse to the left about an inch.
All right.
That's where I am, right there. Right to the right.
Wow.
An inch. Yep, that's the sea coast. I'm right next to the ocean. I'm on the ocean pretty much. So I'm on the border of New Hampshire and then Maine. Maine is a massive state, as you can see.
Wow.
I'm sometimes go up north towards Portland and Augusta. Other times I'd go way out left to Massachusetts.
So you travel to Maine sometimes.
Yeah, and I want to go to Concord as well too. So the area that I want to be, Steve, is basically between a Concord and then New Hampshire and maybe a bit towards like Augusta or Portland. That's the whole area that I want to live in.
I heard that Maine is beautiful. Like it has a lot.
It is. You know The Shining. Stephen King lives in Maine.
Oh wow.
It's beautiful. There's so many trees there, Steve. It's huge and so underdeveloped. Like nothing's there.
That is, I know, I've heard about that. Yeah, I actually know someone in Connecticut and Delaware, which is actually kind of close. It's interesting because Delaware is kind of not too far out. And it's by the ocean as well.
There's a lot of again, European. It's almost like you're in Europe. It's every city is, can I share my screen for a bit? May I?
Yeah.
I want to show you this. You talk about Tartaria. I got to show you a lot of stuff. If you were to come out to Boston, you'd be blown away. There's so much cool architecture. I want to share this. Ready? Here, just take a look at this. Methuen architecture. Look. I want to show you all the stuff they have. Like, there's so many cool. Oh no, I'll give a better one. I have a better one. Here. Salem, New Hampshire Library. Just take a look at this library. I mean, this library I went to is 10 minutes up from me. I want to see if it actually can. I believe, yeah, this is it. I think this is it.
All right, let's see it.
No.
Well, there's got to be a few different libraries in Salem.
No. Wait, Salem, New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, I would say, yeah.
Hold on, I got this. It's a beautiful library. Hold on. I want to figure this out. Give me.
Is there a Salem in New Hampshire too?
Yeah. Oh, Salem, the witch trials. The reason when they went crazy was because the magical form of a penicillin got inside of people's food, Steve. So look at this. Look right here. Nevins Memorial Library. Look. It looks like something out of Tartaria right there. Nevins Memorial Library. I want to show you some pictures of it.
It is Tartaria architecture. I get that.
It's so cool. Well, let me show this. Like, look, all this stuff. This is what it's like. They have like a horse stable. All this stuff. There's building like this everywhere. Every town has stuff like this all over, Steve. It's like a beautiful, like an old, feels like back in the day, And then let me just look up. Let me show you some more stuff. Lawrence, Massachusetts. Beautiful buildings. There's so much, like, look, all these old colonial-esque stuff that's like from like England, old England.
Yeah.
It's so cool, man. Like, look at that. Like, look at that right there, that picture on the right. Like, it's so unique.
Wow.
That's why I like it, because I'm very intellectual and I like learning and being stimulated. And when you see stuff like this, it's like, it's really cool.
It is. It's a lot of architecture out there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why
even Vermont. You know what Vermont is like. It's very green.
Oh, Vermont. Oh, I didn't even show you Vermont. Let me show you Vermont. I didn't even show you that.
Yeah, let's just see if Vermont first.
Let's see. Brad, let's look up. Let's see. Let's see if I can find anything. Yeah, look. See, it's all surrounded by trees. It's very beautiful up there. There's a lot of like beautiful stuff happening. It's very, again, this is basically a typical Vermont town, Steve. This right here. You have massive rolling hills, and you have all these towns in between. Yep. That's pretty much what every town in Vermont is like, Steve. You see all this old, cool architecture. I'm gonna go to Putney. I'm gonna go to Brattleboro, Putney, Vermont.
Yeah, there's one thing about astrology too.
Like, look, so this is what I'm talking about. Like, look at how beautiful this place is, Steve. Oh, I used to live in Putney, Vermont for a while. This is where I went to college. It's just such a beautiful area. Lots of farmlands. It's beautiful. But I got to show you New Hampshire. Final thing. Portsmouth, New Hampshire. This place is the gem. It's such a pretty town, Steve. It's so cool. Let me get some good pictures of it. Like, look. See, like, this is what they have. They have a lot of, like, fishing boats and stuff. It's really, really pretty any time of the year. There's tons and tons of old stuff.
You know what's interesting is
what?
These areas that you're talking about, it's kind of where the country was founded out in
that's what I'm saying. And Stephen, you have buildings. Amesbury was founded in the year 1668. Yeah. 1668. That's how old the town is. You see all these, there are buildings, there are houses there from like the 1700s that are like updated. Yeah. It's crazy.
You know what's interesting? I think when I think of the West, I think of more dreams. Because think about it. Like West, it's like you're there's more chilled out energy. It's more peaceful. Kind of like the Pacific Ocean, like when you're passive. Pacific, peace. And then when I go east, when I think of east, I think of commitment. You're going to do something. You're learning something.
Last one, and I'll be done. So this is pretty much what, if it actually loads. I don't know if it's going to actually load or not. So in the town of Amesbury, there's a mural that shows what it was like back in the 1800s. Now it's completely different. But you can see all of these right here. Look at this. Like, take a look at that. You see how many, there are barely any towns here. And it's all in the 1800s. I can walk by.
Like a lot of nature, honestly. Kind of.
Yeah, but now it's not. Now it's not. Like if you look at Amesbury Carriage Mill. Let me get to this. So this is so they have a giant carriage mill in the middle of town, which is so cool. That's where I went to Inventive Labs, by the way. There are all these old towns everywhere. Again, I could go on for hours, Steve. I could go for hours and just tell you everything. But it's really, really cool. I feel like I'm in like Tartaria. There's all this cool stuff. So
it is. You know, Chicago actually has a lot of ancient stuff too.
Well, remember, there was the Chicago fire.
And not only that, there was also the Chicago Fair back in the day where they showed all the different architecture that used to be there.
Yeah, and then they all got burned down. They all got burned down. Like the entire city of Chicago got burned to the ground. It was like Boston. It was very similar to Boston, but then they here's the thing I realized, Steve. At the London City Fire, every time a city gets burned, Scorpio, that's how new structures rise. Taurus.
No.
You need to have the destruction to be able to usher in the new. So here's what I think. I think that obviously the whole AI thing is never going to take off because of all the infrastructure. Like they would have to burn, or nature would have to flood every city for them to make this AI infrastructure go online.
Okay. Okay. I want to bring the attention to your ascendant. I had a question because I was looking at something. Your ascendant, I actually have it as not 20 degrees Capricorn because I typed in everything. It was your birth time and your location. It has you at more like 25 degrees Capricorn or 20, I think 20, around 25. But in Vedic, it would be 1 degree Capricorn. So I'm just wondering how you got 20 degrees for you. Like, are you sure that your ascendant, you had,
maybe I put in the wrong information. Let me try it again. Because I was right, too. I thought my Aquarius one was like 24 degrees. My birth time was 10:19 a.m.
Is it 10:9? Because oh, wow. Oh, wow. My bad. I thought you said 1039.
No, 1019.
Are you serious? Oh.
That's why. Yeah.
Oh. All right,
right,
this might change it. Let me
All
see
right,
what.
want to try it again? Want to do a redo again? Want to do a redo?
Oh, no way. Gosh.
What is it now? What
I don't
happened?
know how I had 1039. Are you sure? Are you positive about that?
1019 is my birth time.
1019. Okay, so you're actually okay. So Purva Ashada. That makes sense, John. Your Jupiter is actually conjunct your ascendant.
In Boston?
No, and just in general
Oh,
is where you're born.
makes sense. Yeah, that's why I'm so expensive all the time.
But it's also it's in Sagittarius. It's in Purva Ashada. It's going into Capricorn, but in Western it's Capricorn. But in Vedic, I'm just going to focus on Vedic. It's in Purva Ashada. That's you're nurturing the seed. I've always thought of you as that energy. I'm going to actually share my screen and show what that energy is because I did it the last live stream. I showed you what this nakshatra is about. The ruling planet would be Venus for here. But it's look at this. The god of water, Appa. The deity is Appa. And it's not look at this. The winnowing basket. I thought of you as like in a field. It's Venus ruled. This is what you feel like. It's the good things in life that you can. You experience the early victory of something, a divine gift. And it's also articulate speech. Wow. These natives, they can be argumentative, impulsive, and it's hard for them to beat anyone in a debate.
Is this for me in Boston or in Chicago?
No, this is just this is Chicago because you were born. This is what I thought of you when you were here, John, because.
Yeah, I know. I'm very logical. I'm like my dad. I'm a lawyer if I wanted to be. That's how it is.
But the one thing you got to know about the Ashadas is they're connected. Purva means before, and then the next one is Uttara, which means later. This is where you nurture the seed. It's the water goddess. So you think about water. You water the seeds. And before that seed can sprout, in the later victory, you have to do what happens before that. You water it and you nurture it. You get the early victory. And this is what it kind of represents, a winnowing basket. This is where you feel it's more about feeling good and not as much about the hard work. Think about it. Sagittarius is more about feeling good, and it's not as much about the stress and hard work of Capricorn. Because what comes after that, once again, we got Uttara Ashada. The Vishvadevas, the later victory. And and that's more ruled by the sun, whereas Venus is more about feeling good. The sun wants to go out there and make things happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting, John. That's why Vedic, you have to be so precise. You make one mistake, it could change everything.
I know. That's why I got to be careful.
But I thought I had it right.
Oh, shoot.
That's weird because I do remember you telling me 1019. For whatever reason, I had 1039.
You're fine.
But that's fascinating to me. I thought of you as that. You had this, I don't know. Like, I have a question for you. Would you say what are some similarities between Taurus and Sagittarius? Because there's both. I think there's similarities to be found on every sign. Because right now it's Taurus.
Give me a second. Let me think about this.
I can tell you.
First of all, let me think of this. Taurus, Aries, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn. That's the 8th house, right? That's the 8th house, right? Yeah, that is. It's the 8th house, right? Okay.
It is the 8th house.
So
You go first. And
Horses in general, they can get kind of depressing at times because they tend to be very traditional when they hold the line. Sagittarius doesn't have any restrictions. They just keep going and go, 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 go. Taurus is a lot more realistic. They're grounded. They take place with pleasure. They're all about the physical pleasures in life. That's why, like if you think of the zodiac sign, you think of Scorpio and Taurus. That's generally speaking where the attraction of men and women are. That's just how people are. And so Taurus deals with more what is real, while Sagittarius deals with more philosophy.
Philosophy,
And expansion.
Sure.
That being said, they can be very disciplined too. Like if you think of the church, that's Sagittarius. You have a pope, you have a cardinal, you have a bishop. Capricornian element to it.
I can tell you the reason why I asked is because that nakshatra I just showed you, it's a Venus ruled nakshatra, and Taurus is Venus, and that whole nakshatra energy, it's all about the beauty of life. It watering the seed. It kind of reminded me of Taurus, even though it's Sagittarius, because that Venus energy of, part of that creation, you water the plants and eventually that plant can grow into something. But Taurus itself, it's more about physical pleasures and the physical good things that you can experience, like eating a good meal, drinking something that tastes so good, or just grounding your feet in the soil. That's Taurus. Whereas Sagittarius is more philosophy. But it even goes deeper than that, because if you really look into these nakshatras, Sagittarius isn't like, there's a dark nakshatra to start it. It's called Mula, and it's right away the first nakshatra to start Sagittarius. It's all about the roots, and it deals with destruction.
Yeah, because again, that's Scorpio. Like, Scorpio, think about it, Steve. During that time in Western, in Vedic, that's when frost comes. Everything dies. Everything. It's like Thanos snaps his fingers. That's when all the bugs die with the first frost. That's also when it snows. However, when it begins to snow flurries, that's Sagittarius. I think of Santa driving his sleigh through what? A snowstorm. Santa driving his sleigh through a snowstorm is Sagittarius.
I'm telling you, John, when I first learned about Sagittarius, I did not think of the dark aspects of it like that.
Oh, no, that's scary. I mean, they have nothing to rely upon but hope. It's scary. Like, it's like, it's kind of like Leo in a spec. But like the difference between Leo is that you lose your mind with Sagittarius.
Yeah. Well, I've seen a lot of Sagittarius people who they act like everything's amazing, but I see that their life is a complete mess.
Let me tell you this. So here's to sum it up. Ready? The most happiest, joyful people have the most messed up, screwed up secrets. They have that one secret. You like the Catholic Church. There's probably alien technology beneath the Vatican, yet they act all holy.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee there's satanic stuff underneath the Vatican that they hide, and yet they preach anti-Satanism. That's Sagittarius, Steve. You have that tiny little sliver of the most screwed up scorpionic stuff.
It's fascinating because that's religion and philosophy. It deals with a lot of Sagittarius.
Yeah, exactly. There's always, and then again, I mean, I think of it, there's a thing in Thanos where, perfect example, where, again, you lose your mind in an aspect. With Leo, David versus Goliath, you look up at a giant, you say, okay, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to go fight with you. You go off and you fight him. With Sagittarius, it's like, you don't care. You're like crazy. You're like, oh my God, I'm gonna walk on lava now because I can do it. Yeah. And you run on lava and then you wonder why you burn alive.
Even the houses, like the 9th house deals with Sagittarius energy.
Well, that's because again, you have to. That's exactly it. It's like all about it's Piscean. It's very similar to Pisces. It's like a drug trip. Think about all the conquistadors who left Europe with castles and knights and princesses, and went off to see Aztecs killing each other, ripping out their hearts and throwing them over a temple. Like
Sagittarius.
It's like
so
what?
crazy. No, because I like to think about the energy of the signs themselves, and that's just it's interesting to think of it like that. Because think about the opposite, Gemini. It's not you're getting the opposite. It's more about it's warm now, so now you know what you're getting yourself into. But you can also trap yourself because Gemini deals with the environment, whereas in Sagittarius you're free to go anywhere you want. You can travel.
Well, the thing about that is you don't really spend time studying anything. It's kind of like you go to China and you're like, oh, cool, big fancy houses. Let's go next. Go to Germany. Oh yeah, sausage next. And you don't actually appreciate anything, and that's the downside of it. Is that like you again? It reminds me of when I was with my. It reminds me of a person who basically goes on to the most amazing places and thinks about his next adventure while he's enjoying an amazing event. That's Sagittarius. You don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem of it. I mean, what's the point of manifesting if you can't even enjoy it? And that's in between Taurus. Taurus will soak it all in and be like, oh, yeah, I got myself over to Japan and I'm just enjoying the mountainside, drinking tea, relaxing. That's Taurus.
That's
you
good.
sit there for months and don't move. All Sagittarius like, okay, what's the next place you want to go after that?
Gemini too. I heard this from the Decode guy, Decode Your Reality. He said that Gemini deals with the prison bars because it's the twins, and it's like two bars. Think about like the Twin Towers. So think about two pillars standing up. It kind of represents like the doors, the gates of a prison or the gates of hell. So Gemini could be like a prison in that regard. And once you open up the gates, then you can leave and exit out of that prison. Gemini is about an environment. So you're stuck to that environment.
Question. Why is Gemini two-faced?
Why? They're analyzing the environment. They're thinking. They're being critical in a way. It's Mercury. Mercury is like the trickster. So you have to play both sides. And it could mean that
I actually thought of a crazy question. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Is a clown ruled by Sagittarius or Gemini?
A cloud, I would say.
A clown.
Oh, clown.
The original Jesters. That one, not the modern version, the original one.
Would it be Gemini or what? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Think about it. Because they're very funny and they're very out. I actually was watching this live with Robert Phoenix, and he was saying there's a whole conspiracy behind clowns and how they're actually like representations of deities that are like the bad ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's interesting.
No, it makes you think for sure. But the whole nakshatra stuff is fascinating too, because it's going to tell you something. And, the more I look at Sagittarius, I see there's different aspects. So this is what I meant to talk about last live, actually. Let me pull this up. Actually, I had something I wanted to share. If I could find it on time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, until I find it, we can just talk about Sagittarius, the energy, because.
Well, what are you trying to look at? What is it?
Well, I just used to think of Sagittarius as very light and joyful, but I see it's right before winter. So obviously, of course, there's a coldness to it. There's a harshness to it. Gemini is right before the summer. So that's why things you start to make sense. And the light is at the brightest point at the end of Gemini. And the light's at the darkest point, the lowest point in Sagittarius. In terms of like, if you look at the day, there's the most sunlight in the summer solstice. All right, I found it.
Share your screen. Send it to your email and then share your screen.
I'll share it, but I gotta pull it up first. So Ganas in Vedic astrology. Okay, so once I pull this up, I'm going to show you. All right, wow, I found it. Okay. Here we go. This is going to be types of ganas. All right, so look at this. Remember I said there's different ganas. Everything's like about balance. You have human ganas, 9 nakshatras that represent human. Then you have 9 demonic, and then 9 would be more heavenly and divine. And it shows you right here which ones they are. The divine ones would be these right here, Ashwini, all the way to Revati. And then you can see all the human ones. Rohini would be, this is like, it grounds you. Rohini is the middle of Taurus. We're in that right now. The sun is in Rohini. And it deals with creation, like I said. And then demonic ones right here. You get all the way from Kritika to Shatabisha. So this is something you should know about just our reality. Because if you're just trying to be all divine, you're going to miss out on these ones right here. And then, but if you're going to try to...
I think of in Western, Steve, it's like 3D being human. Like, you need to be, you can't, the more 3D you are, think of a line, that's masculine and feminine, Steve. Feminine is all about being light, and the problem with that is you end up being a scaredy cat. And masculine wants to fight. That's that's basically like war and stuff. Yeah. And so, you want to have a bit of both. But yeah, because again, there really is no such thing as evil, Steve.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I know.
Like, so when you say things are demonic, that's not necessarily meaning, oh, he's going to go burn on a cross somewhere in the next dimension. No. What it basically means is you're more in touch with your primal nature. I would say primal nature.
Look at this.
Like, you don't want to fight. You can pick up on deceivers.
Look at this. Great force. See, look at that. Yep. Great force. And
intensity and passion. The individual with this are like having a high level of intensity and passion.
You know what they said? The Titans, I'm going to just explain this real quick. They said that the Titans back in the day, in the whole mythology of it, they were actually more tapped into the demonic aspects than the heavenly, because they cared about power. And to get that power, they tapped into that force and that enthusiasm, the intensity. They weren't just sitting under a tree eating chia seeds. They were going out there and battling. So that's how they become very strong, because they put in the work. And it was all about tapping into those forces. But, every single one has a different energy to it. And I would say the human ones bring more balance. Mm-hmm. They bring more, let's see what it says about human. Identified in real life, possess a curious mixture of several characteristics. Mm-hmm. With symmetric bodies, physically attractive, down to earth, dignity, very earthly. Makes sense. Hold on, let me share this again. Yeah, I meant to show this right here. This is all the human. It just shows you what it means. But I don't want to forget this. Where we are right now in the sun. Maybe I'll quiz you, John. Maybe you don't know this, but what nakshatra is the sun in right now?
I do not know.
If you don't, because we're in Taurus in Vedic, because you subtract the 24 degrees. I want to show you.
Is it a Vishaka? Is that
no, because that's all the way in Libra and Scorpio. I want to show you. It's Rohini.
Rohini.
So, I wanted your opinion on this, because I was thinking about this today, even before this live, like for hours. I was driving around thinking about this nakshatra, and I wanted your opinion on it. It deals with creation. Look at this, to bring into existence. So that's kind of deals with the creation aspect. Symbol is a cart or a chariot. Aldebaran's the star. And that's it's known to be more of a positive energy, but I was sensing kind of I don't want to say negative, but something that's not necessarily the best about creation in all aspects, because if you create something, it could be beautiful. This is the middle of Taurus. But I also heard that Taurus could also deal with the devil, because the physical world, this physical material world, it's materialism can
Well,
be
it's interesting,
evil.
Steven. So in Western astrology, what planet rules Satan? Take a guess. It's not
Planet
Saturn.
is it Venus or Saturn?
No, it's Venus.
Yeah, Venus.
Venus rules the devil.
That's what the Decode Your Reality was saying.
I mean, there's a very interesting lie that goes out. Colonel Sanders had Venus right on his midheaven. And that's why, and he was 66 when he actually decided to sell chicken. Like, there's a lot of cryptic, like, shit. I don't want to get into it because it's very dark and I don't want to get,
Yeah.
But basically, Steve, the long and the short of it is, okay, so, well, it also can rule Saturn too, because I've heard other sources say
I think more of Venus. I think Saturn's more about being disciplined and
taskmaster. I think of a taskmaster.
It's not emotional. It's completely non-emotional.
Like, hey, like, again, I lend you up money, you owe me back. Simple as that.
It's harsh. It's a malefic. Venus is not necessarily a malefic, but it's dealing with the devil.
It can be though, because of excess. Because remember we were talking about hedonism. Remember that whole thing? That's hedonistic. When you have too much Venus, you go out, you'll eat shit on the ground. If it smells good, you'll eat it. If you're in a loyal relationship, if you want to go have sex with someone, you go out and do it,
Right.
That's Venus. And honestly, if you really look at it, it's kind of like the B system in a lot of ways. I mean that's pretty much what it is. It's just, the no morals, just do whatever.
The physical world of creation, it's like free sex, free everything, and that can lead to lust. It's not something you want to go down. And I was thinking about that. It's just like,
I think about even freedom. Freedom is also Venus inspired. I mean, yes, they're the higher octaves of Uranus. Yes, rebellion, being intellectual. But at the end of the day, I don't care. I want this. I want to eat ice cream at 2:00 in the morning. I don't care.
I was thinking about that for hours today, John. I wanted to tell you about that nakshatra.
Yeah.
Because it's so true. If you look at the tarot deck, what's interesting about the numbers, the devil.
Taurus is the most one. Again, there are a lot of attractive people in the sign of Taurus. That's what it's basically emphasized on. Scorpio is very sexual, like it's very like oh, you look so whatever, like
the physical attraction would deal with Venus.
While Taurus is basically very, very like traditional and very, very, again, it's when you watch all the things bloom. It's really pretty.
Yes. I would never have thought there would be a dark side to that, or a side that wasn't so pretty.
Think like this. Think about the Egyptians. Okay, think about it. During the time of Ramses and the pharaohs, Steve, like they were gorging of themselves on excess, total excess. While people, I mean, again, in the age of Taurus, it's like Capricorn, except the difference between Capricorn is you can't really work your way out of it. Taurus means you're stuck. Like the rich were very, very great, and the poor people were just.
Think about this. What about the Roman Empire? They also feasted and they indulged.
Yeah, but the Roman Empire is more Aries Taurus because, first of all, I mean, they have the god. They have the emperor as god. Well, the Egyptians did too, but the Romans were more motion. They were more motion. They wanted to conquer and destroy everything. The Egyptians just wanted. They didn't care. Like the Middle Kingdom lasted for thousands of years. Thousands.
I was just thinking about the whole indulging aspect of it, where they would have feasts and just drink wine for hours.
I mean, look at the architecture. I mean, they're giant. They're literally like weird men. The size of a 3-story building, Steve. That's excess. Like huge, bigger than men, like larger than life.
Yes. It's like isn't that like the Renaissance kind of depicting that a little bit?
No, the Renaissance basically was when he woke up from our spell and thought, whoa, look at all this ancient stuff. Because the Dark Ages lost everything. I mean, that was a great reset where we lost everything. We literally, like, look, from around 480 to around almost 1,000 years, nothing happened. Nothing. No, even with the military, you fought with the spear and chainmail. The Romans had chainmail, so chainmail wasn't used for 1,000 years. Nothing changed. It was just everyone killing each other, raping each other. People died. It was horrible. It was awful, and it took 1,000 years for humanity to climb out of the dark age of the collapse of Rome and then rediscover themselves and build the society that we're living in right now.
There's still in this world a lot of dark things that happen, obviously.
Well, yes, but no, but again, there are certain areas like in Africa right now. Yeah, there's a bunch of tribal warlords like killing each other. Yeah,
even we're here in America, there's crime and stuff. It's just,
yes, but no. It's actually a lot better off than
overall. Yes.
Past. You want to see? Can I? I want to show you this. I don't know if I can find a video of this because it's very, very messed up. But let me show you. Ready? This is what actually. I want to see if I can actually see an image of this. Like you would never see. Let me see if I can actually find this. I don't want to creep you out, but I'm going to show you. Look, this is like you don't see the Black Death and like people with arms and stuff. Like it's. Hold on, let me get a better one. Hold on. Black Death cartoons. Let's see if I can actually find it. Like you don't see. Let's see. I don't want to have an actual kid cartoon. I'm trying to get like historical stuff. Hold on. But no, but you didn't see. Oh, let me try this one last thing. Let's see if I can actually find this. There. You don't see stuff like this, Steve, where like towns are burning and everything. I mean, it was awful back in the day.
I'm talking about as a whole, and you don't even have to show me because I know. I mean,
but I'm just saying. I would say, Steve, this part in history is very, very peaceful compared to what it was back in the day.
I know all that I was saying. I know as a whole it is, but it's not perfect now, though. It's like there's still.
Well, that's the thing. No, but that's the point. We live in an imperfect world.
I know.
Like that's the whole point of us coming down here, Steve, is for us to get better.
Well, then we say, remember that was split in 9 categories. Heaven, I would think of just what was it? Divine, human, and demonic. Those 9. I think that your mind should strive to be more heavenly. Because if you just think about the mind as a whole, the higher portions of who we are, it deals with the mind.
No, you have it wrong. It's the heart.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Processing.
Because Leo is the highest octave. Leo and Pisces, that's the highest octave. The lowest octave is what? Capricorn, Aquarius. That's the lowest octave.
Oh, actually, you're right about that. Because think about it.
Logic doesn't feel. Logic has no connection. Logic is AI.
What about the crown chakra?
No, that's inspiration.
Yeah. That's like, isn't that Pisces too? And Aries?
Yes.
It's kind of both.
Yes. So Aries is the head. Aries is not a high octave. It's very emotion and it's very savvy.
It's actually on the lower side, yeah.
The head is great for survival. How much food do I have? Do I know how to survive myself? That's it.
The heart.
So, but no, the heart is where you are because that's where divine inspiration. You know it's right. The heart has a brain, Steve. The heart has a quantum brain that is always right, that you know is right.
Right. That's Cancer, right? Because let's talk about in terms of a signs. You got Aries, then you come down. I'd say this is Cancer to Leo. Leo's got to be somewhere.
Cancer is also malnutrition. It rules like the spleen and other stuff like that. You know.
I think the stomach is Virgo, and then you get to the kidneys. The kidneys is Libra, and then you keep going down all the way to Pisces.
Yes.
Sagittarius is the legs. Yeah.
Capricorn rules the knees, obviously, because you basically how far can you stand?
Right.
Aquarius rules the hips. That makes sense because it's weird. You can twist yourselves in weird situations. Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
Well, because I never thought of it like that. Because I think I always thought of Pisces as the crown too. It's really because think about it. Pride can come from Pisces, or pride comes from the crown It's something I kind of thought about. Now, hold on. I kind of want to share this if I could find it. It's actually a physical piece of paper that I got. I don't know if I can find it or not. If I can, it's something worthwhile to share. Not sure if I even have it. But no, I want to continue on that topic though, because
continue on.
Because hold on. Never mind, dude. I'm gonna keep trying to find it, but I like to draw analogies, right? So those three different sections, heaven, because I'm trying to use that heavenly energy of the ganas as a depiction based off the chakras. Because Earth, originally what I was thinking was Earth would be like the heart. I don't know, maybe not.
No. The Earth is ground. It's 3D ground. There are actually 5 elements, Steve. Ether. Remember, during the 1800s, you had all this Native American amazing mysticism, and the Rothschilds and all these bankers basically funded and basically told it was all hogwash and made us believe in modern medicine, which is all BS. It's not real.
Right.
So there were 5 elements: earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, ether.
I don't know, but what I'm saying is I thought of the Earth Gana as what would bring balance to the whole situation, because let's say you want to go to the extremes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You become super heavenly. So you're not fighting, you're not getting intense, you just want to love and be compassionate. But then you have another group that just wants to go to the extreme of being demonic and going super like intense.
Pillaging, raping, eating humans,
being harsh, like indulging, all these things. The balance, when I would say you got both extremes, they got to meet. They like spiral to meet in the at a point where they can coexist in a way where they're not divided. Because I think what religion did, John, was it separated the waters above from the waters below, where people are not in tune with both aspects of themselves. And it's not impossible to get there, but I think that there's a lot of you see a lot of extremes. So I always think about that balance part. Yeah. Kind of makes sense.
Well, I think really, it's not really one element, because you can go to extremes with ground as well too, being rigid and unchanging.
That's true too.
You can be kind of mean. You can be evil too, very evil. The ends justify the means. Like
I said, Rohini is Earth-based, but it's also the middle of Taurus, which deals, it's the whole nakshatras literally tell a story.
I know.
Rohini is where it gets interesting. I could be a narrator. If you want me to narrate the nakshatra story,
absolutely.
I'm going to do it. But first, you probably can't see this too well. Wow, I'm gonna try to get a little bit of brighter. Let me try to do something real quick. Wow. So it just tells you exactly what everything is. It pretty much, you don't have to see the whole thing, but
wow, that looks cool.
It tells you all the chakras, and it tells you the sin for each one, and a little bit of information on the others. Yeah. So I'm going to tell the story of the nakshatras.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen and just show you here. Okay. I'm not even going to open. I'm just going to do a brief description of each one. Ashwini right here starts it off. There's obviously, as you can see, 27 nakshatras overall. It's the horse. It deals with prana and energy. You blast off and you take action.
Right. That's basically 0 degrees Aries, right?
0 to 13, because every single nakshatra is 13.33 degrees. 13 and 1/3 degrees.
Got it.
After that, from 13.3 to 26.6 is Barony. So this is where you bear the burden of what you did to start in Aries. Still in Aries, but now you're getting deeper into that sign of Aries, and you are bearing the burden, and deals with death, because now you have to pay the repercussions of what you did.
It seems almost like Piscean in a sense.
Yeah. I don't think I ever showed you all this one, but
I want to see it.
Barony, the god of death. So this is kind of, it's interesting because this is an earth nakshatra, and it's the god of death. There's a lot of earth nakshatras that are dark, so you're kind of right about that. It can be harmful and misleading in nature. Yeah. So it's what I think of it as just bearing the burden. It's a reproductive organ.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Kritika, the next one is the fire. It's sacrificial fire. So this is where you move from Aries into Taurus. So you went through, taking action and bearing the burden. Now you're dealing with the god of fire called Agni. And it's a knife or a spear. Fire. Glow of power. Creative force. It's a demonic nakshatra. And it's a cutter. It cuts into things. It's very intense. People who have this are very intense. The next one is what we're in right now. The sun is in Rohini. And it deals with creation. I'm just going to keep going. I'm not going to go that deep into this, but it brings things into existence. That's what you got to know. Brahma is the deity here. Symbol of a cart or a chariot. Then the deer, because after the creation happens, a lot of deer are born. It kind of represents the creation expressing itself. In this way, in this form, it's a deer's head.
Right.
Soma, and these deer want to experience the best things in life, so they're out running, freely, feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the next one that's kind of a darker one because it deals with the storm. It's Ardra. Brings a teardrop. It kind of represents a storm destroying everything. Look at this. Rudra is the deity, the god of destruction. So now this entity, Rudra, was so mad that the creation happened that he wanted to destroy everything, and he felt all the pain of all the people that were created. He's like, how could you create all these people and look at all the pain that they're going through right now? So he turned himself into a deer and lived among all of these creations because he felt terrible. And I think, he brought a lot of destruction as well. So there's that. That one's in Gemini. It's the middle of Gemini. Mrigashira, the deer, is where it goes into Gemini. After the storm, right in the middle of Gemini, and who would have thought Gemini had a darkness to it? Like, right in the middle.
Well, that makes sense. It's the occult,
Yeah. And then you get into, this is where my ascendant is. This is why I'm kind of more on the feminine or not doing much sign. It doesn't mean I'm feminine. I'm a guy, but I'm not obviously I'm not a girl, but this entity or this energy, adity, is the mother energy. So that's why I find myself in this location where my ascendant is, where this is not the nakshatra where you go out and you do things. This is where you return to the light. There's a very beautiful energy to it because it comes after the storm. You clear up the sky, you clear everything up, and there's a whole light that's reborn. And that's what the energy is. That's when you move into Cancer, Gemini into Cancer. Now, if I was into Boston, John, this is where my nakshatra would be right here. I would be more of a nurturer, believe it or not. I would be more devoted if I was in Boston, because this entity, it's a cow's udder. It deals with the priest. It's a priest that nurtures a little kid, because the kid has nowhere to go, and he's there to feed the kid, to feed the baby, and nurture the baby.
Huh.
That's Pushya, right in Cancer. I'm gonna keep going. I don't even have to click on these actually, but Ashlesha is the snake. Coiling serpent comes right after that. Snakes. You gotta watch out what you get intertwined with, because Mercury, where it rules as a trickster. Serpent. I'm gonna go quicker. I'm gonna want to just go through this.
Take your time.
All right. Maga, as I told you before, deals with royalty, royal throne.
Think about the MAGA movement. Isn't it kind of funny? MAGA.
Yeah. Wow, that is interesting.
Trump. Royalty, Trump. Trump is a golden head, gold hair, MAGA.
And Trump has a Leo ascendant, and I think he's got other Leo aspects to him as well. He's got something with royalty as well. This is the royal throne.
That's funny.
Features the family ancestors. Yeah,
of course, family. That's so wild.
Yeah, Trump is very much in this reality. Yeah.
So funny. What's the next one?
Well, this is where your Mars is, believe it or not. You have Mars and Leo in Purva Falguni. So right after the royalty, this is where you want to feel good, like delight. So there's some nakshatras that deal with wanting to feel good, kind of like Mrigashira, the deer, but this one deals more with, relaxing on a hammock, kind of just lazing around. It's where you just want to, do you ever get into those modes where you just want to be lazy and just, sit down, watch a good movie, not really do much, just lay on a hammock? Yeah. That's what this whole nakshatra is about. Venus is what rules it, wanting to just feel good. And that's pretty much all there is to this one.
Yeah.
It's called Bhaga, the deity, known as the god of good fortune, but it's also delight.
Nice.
Then this is where my Rahu is, my Venus. It's the later fruits, Uttara Falguni. So now you're not just lazing around. Now you're actually getting out into the world, making contracts, making deals. This is me. This is going to be me going forward, because I'm more geared towards, leadership, honor, nobility, the rules of society. So this is where Leo goes into Virgo.
Yep, Leo into Virgo is probably the most royalist poet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that's like that, again, that's what perfection, you see a perfect garden, you rule over it,
It makes sense, because when you're just in Leo, you want to just feel good, be the king, shine on. You get into Virgo, you start to make contracts, and you start to, get in touch with the community. It's not all about you anymore. You want to give back to the community if you're a king or someone in power. And then, Ahriman was the deity there. And then after that, Hasta deals with the hands. It's Virgo. Think about the middle of Virgo. Moon rules it. This is where you start to, be more creative and create things. It's kind of like a builder, I would say. And then the next one's the architect. It's like the divine architect. This is where Virgo comes into Libra. So a lot of what you're building, it starts to have more of a more of an aspect that can relate to other people, because Libra deals with air. So you want to make it look good. It's not about just building something. You want to make it bright, like a bright jewel or a pearl, because Libra, they want to kind of please others. It's not about just building something. You want to build something that's bright or it can appease to others. Mm-hmm. And Mars would be this is where my Mars is actually located, in Chiron. So my Mars and Chiron conjunction, it deals with not being able to express this jewel, express this beauty, because that's kind of what it deals with, beauty.
Yeah.
Really
that's
interesting. It's like an architect. This is where your Venus is, John. This is right when you get deeper into Libra.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Body deals with independence, wind. The symbol would be a plant or a coral. But it also, the deity is the wind god. They want to be free and they don't want to be independent. And yeah, that's where my moon is and your Venus. But the triumphal gateway, or the archway comes with Vishaka. You even said in Vishaka. It's interesting.
Yeah.
This is where it gets more intense because now you're getting into Scorpio. It's like all that Libra energy of connecting with other people, it turns into more of this deeper commitment with Scorpio. Indra and Agni are both deities.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that triumphal arch.
I hear you.
Now your sun sign, John. You get deeper into Scorpio, right in the middle of Scorpio. Look at what we got here. Hold on. This thing can load. All right. You got Vishak, or no, you got Anuradha. So now
Yes.
that's friendship. So what these people care about is having friendship and partnership. That's what the deity Mitra means.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of describes you, reflecting the ability to blossom in any situation, any life situation. They have a motivation of dharma, or the right action. They always want to do the right thing. It gives tenacity and discipline when needed. That's kind of like you. These people are more geared towards friendship, and they don't want to just do things for the sake of it. If they're going to have a relationship with someone, if they're going to be friends with someone, it's going to be deep and meaningful. They're not the kind of people that are just going to go out and be friends with nobody just for the sake of it.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's Anuradha. We're getting to the end now. Jesta is the end of Scorpio. This is where it's war. This is where this Indra, this chief of the gods, he goes into the belly of the beast and he literally brings a sword and he has to save an entire community. So he pretty much is gaining courage in battle. So he could, penetrate in the deepest way, because that's Scorpio. He literally gets swallowed by a beast or some kind of sea dragon or something, and he has to literally fight his way out of there. So it's literally just a war. That's Jesta. So that ends Scorpio. Now we're in the last part. Mula starts Scorpio off.
Mm-hmm.
This is where, and funny enough, I told you that Sagittarius, I used to think of it as bright and light and just very good and optimistic. Well, this is anything but that, because this deals with the roots. The goddess of dissolution and destruction. Right here, John, we're dealing with a symbol that deals with a bunch of roots tied together. And the deity Nariti, I mean, this is one that's going to be destructive. Imagine, this is kind of reminding me of hell, because when the roots, I think you're stuck down in the roots and you're not getting up. But as we can go later, we find how to get out of the roots. This is where your ascendant in Jupiter is. We come right back here. What did I tell you about the Ashadas, John? This is your nakshatra right here when it comes to Jupiter and your ascendant.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're not stuck in the roots. We went through Mula. So the next one deals with watering the seed. So you're pretty much nurturing the seed to guaranteeing. Ashada deals with victory. You're guaranteeing a victory. The first part of it deals with nurturing the water. It deals with this whole element of water. Followed by Uttara Ashada, which is the later victory. I already went over this. We don't have to go over it, but the Vishvadevas deal with all the principles that you got to implement if you want to be successful. whatever that goal is. And it's a whole list of things. It has to be connected to ancestors. It has to be part of your purpose. It has to be part of a dharma. It's a whole list of different things you got to do to guarantee victory. Now, this is the one I want you to pay attention to. This is when you get into, we're in Capricorn now, because Uttara Ashada goes into Capricorn. You're no longer just in Sagittarius. You're now committing to something deeper, and you're putting in action. Remember, I told you that I told you that Travana deals with being the preserver of the universe. It's the ear. It deals with vibrations. They want to preserve everything. They don't want things to be out of control.
Mm-hmm.
The middle of Capricorn wants order. It wants everything to be preserved. It does not want just random chaotic things going on. So that's Shravana. That's where Pluto's going to move into a few years.
Mm-hmm.
After this, we're getting deeper into Capricorn. We shift into Aquarius in this nakshatra. Dhanishta deals with wealth. Remember, we always talk about the 11th house. How do you want to acquire wealth? You connect,
Right.
You network. You go into Aquarius. So you're combining a Capricorn Aquarius where you're working hard towards something. You're committing a deeper commitment physically. And you're combining it with the social aspect of Aquarius. And as we go deeper into Aquarius, this is your ascendant in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Ishak. Hold on. 100 medicines, 100 physicians, 100 healers. It holds all the energy together, and it's a healer.
Right.
Now we're in the last three. This one, the Vajrapadas deal with, as you're going into Pisces. It's the final. This is the result. Purva Vajrapada is the former result, so it's the early result. And my K2 is actually here, my south node.
Mm-hmm.
The fire dragon. So there's a lightning strike that occurs here. It says like it deals with a bed, because like think about it, Pisces is like a bed. Like the funeral is depicted because Pisces is the end of the end. It's like you're at a funeral. So now we have the final result, and that the final result comes right after Purva Vajrapada.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
I'm just trying to get it to load. I don't know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're having a little bit of trouble getting this thing to load, but Uttara Ashada, Uttara Vajrapada deals with the later result. You're committing to something deeper now. You're in the middle of Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
And you're no longer being social. When you're in Aquarius, you're going beyond the physical capabilities. Like think about Capricorn going into Aquarius. You become more about society and connecting with other people, and you're sharing ideas. Now you're going beyond those ideas, and you're surrendering to your dream-like state, and your connection to the divine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Uttara Vajrapada. It's not even loading right now, but yeah, I'm having some difficulties getting this to even
All right,
load.
it happens. I got you. It happens.
But Revati, this is the final one, John. This is where my Saturn is, and your Saturn's in Uttara Vajrapada. But funny enough, it's a 26th nakshatra. You're born on the 26th. You're double 8 life path, and you have that. And I'm just gonna remove this for now. I'll wrap this up. But
I'm listening. Yeah.
your Saturn's. Think about this. My Saturn's in Revati, the 27th nakshatra. I'll finish describing it. It's where you're being led home. It's the end of the end. This is the finale. You're being led home by the shepherd. It's like a fish. A fish is another symbol for this. You're surrendering completely. You have nothing left to do except just surrender to the divine. And your Saturn's in the 26th nakshatra. Wow, cool. I pretty much just I described the entire story of the nakshatras, and like that's what you got to know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that's my question to you. What do you think about that 26th nakshatra Uttara Bhadrapada? Because you have your Saturn and Ketu there. That's a big one for you to know. Because that can help you determine what you went through before. I
mean, well, I'm just wondering with me is like, what would be the best place for me to be, I guess, in general, But it all depends on what you want to do. That's the thing. What do you as a soul want to experience?
You got me curious now because I'm not going to ask you to keep doing the relocation charts, but I want to see that whatever website you use, I want to use it myself because I'm curious.
The astrocartography one?
Yeah, because if you want to let me know that website, I can literally show you I can tell you exactly what you'd be experiencing based off your relocation.
Oh my gosh, Steve! I found a Vedic relocation they have with astrocartography.
No way.
Do you want to look at it with me? I'm not sure.
You can share it.
I don't know if it's an actual one, so I'm just bear in mind I'm looking, but this looks kind of cool.
That is interesting because I would have just done it in my head because I don't know.
Well, you should never do stuff in your head because, again, it's like explaining how a computer works, Steve. Like some things you can't. So astrocartography, never mind. You might have to pay for that stuff, which honestly.
I would not pay because I'm good enough to like.
This one's free. Astrocartography. Wanted the link? This is it. You can do it for your friends as well, too. Do it for CJ. Do it for Pat. Do it for your dad. Your dad. Ooh, I would love to see what your dad is like in Florida. I would love to see it.
He's definitely in a.
I would definitely say a strong Venus line. I would say a very strong Venus. I don't necessarily mean Saturn because he's not really there to be disciplined. He's just going there to relax.
I thought of something crazy. You know what it is? His ascendant is in that Uttara Ashada, which is all out later. Let me finish. He moves to Florida. His ascendant's no longer there. He's probably in Shravana, which is all about the ear. It's about vibration and just preserving. It's not about going out and fighting like he's going to work for 10 hours. He's there. He's like immersed in a vibration. I'm telling you, this is really interesting when you bring in these practical examples in real life. What was it? Like, I was just thinking of something, John. I keep thinking like the West would be really interesting for me because everywhere else I would have, let's say anywhere from here to the East, I would have Cancer-like energy. No matter where I go, it would be because I'm a Gemini ascendant, but it's going into the reason you want to look at the nakshatras is because they go into another sign. I'm in Gemini, but it goes into Cancer. So I can experience that Cancer energy. It's the mother energy. I'm like, there's not much you can do when you're in a feminine.
Yeah.
When I was in Nebraska, it was different a little bit. It was more in the middle of Gemini. Now I'm like moving into Cancer here. If I'm in Boston, John, I wouldn't be much different. I would be even. I'm going crazy thinking about this.
I hear you, man. It's wild. I guess the thing, Steve, is where do you feel like your authentic self? That's the thing. Where does your heart feel stronger? I want you to try something, Steve. I want you to try something. I want you to imagine right now, close your eyes and go into your heart space. Just try
All right.
this.
I'm
Just
trying to, like, I have a thought, but okay.
What's your thought? Then do it.
My thought is that there's a lot of places I have not been. So I haven't been to the West much at all, except when I was in Arizona.
Okay, your heart intuitively knows. I want to try this with you, right? Listen. I want you to close your eyes and imagine you're on a beach in Florida and go into your heart space, wherever you feel near the water, right? Then I want you to imagine a giant holographic map of pretty much, the United States, I guess. And then picture a dot of where you are in Chicago near the Great Lakes, all right? Now, I want you to feel this, and I want you into your mind's third eye with your heart, take that dot and drag it around. First, drive it towards
No,
the
I can
west.
already sense it, John. I can tell you what it is.
Okay, where does your vibration feel the strongest? Does it vibrate stronger to the east or to the west, or where is it?
Let me tell you, be very specific of this. I think in California, there's a lot of magical energy. You have Hollywood, but you got to be careful with California because you could get messed up in the wrong energies. But I think that if you follow, I'm not saying I would live there. Like Arizona, I definitely can sense that would be really good. The problem with Arizona is sometimes if you've already hiked all the trails, it's just a lot of deserts. So you might run out of things to do.
Right.
I could see spending some time possibly seeing California, actually Oregon too. I would say some of the Northwest. I would say Oregon, and I would say, anywhere around there like Washington or places near kind of like the West Coast up north, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So I would say exploring a lot of the West, not one place, but like getting a good feel for all of the West, because I've never, that's like the one place I never really explored, and I sense something with that area, and I'm fascinated. My relocation shifts completely when I'm there. I'm a Taurus. If you look at Vedic, I'd be a Taurus out there. I'd be able to feel.
That makes sense. That would make you. That would be feeling you emotional, and honestly, Taurus does feel. So what do you get when you're what do you get when the Midwest then?
The Midwest
in Chicago. What do you get?
Yeah. There's a lot of healing energy. There's a lot of Cancer-like, home. It's about home commitments. And
okay, let me go back. Let me ask you. Do you feel like you're living in your authentic self by being more of a Taurus or embodying more that of a Cancer?
I would say the Taurus is more important in terms of being able to experience everything.
So being able to, yeah, exactly. So that's what I would say. For me, Steve, I like being intellectual. So I feel like at least with Western. So if I go West and Vedic, what happens to me?
I'll tell you, you might possibly be a Scorpio, actually, like all the way west. Like if you keep going in Vedic, you're either going to be early Sagittarius or late Scorpio.
Okay, so, and then out here, I'm what?
Well, Capricorn when it comes to Vedic. But in Western, if you want to look at it in a Western perspective, you'd be Aquarius.
So wait, I'd be wait, in Vedic, I'd be what again on the East Coast?
Vedic, you'd be a Capricorn because you're Sag here.
That makes sense. Very, very like serious, more of a taskmaster. While Scorpio's a lot more like
detective.
Yeah, interesting.
And I'm different. Like I would have a different energetic feel, possibly. Maybe I haven't explored the West enough, but I need to do that sometime. Well, I'm going to say this. Because of the nakshatra, John, what I get here is, my dad, he's all about work here. He's got that nakshatra where he goes and does the work.
Right.
There are times here where I feel like I can't really create anything or do anything big because I'm held back by that Cancer. And then the nakshatra, John, let me finish by saying this. I would be in the deer, you know that deer nakshatra? It's called Mrigashira.
Yes.
I would be experiencing that if I went out to Arizona, which is it makes sense because then I would be able to fully that deals with the soma, like finally being fulfilled. I would never be fulfilled really being in Chicago because like there's not a ton. Well, I'm not gonna. There's a time and place for everything, but it's not gonna give you a taste of what else is beyond that.
And why is that?
Because when you're stuck in one place for so long, you're not gonna get the experience of that.
Well, not even that. Look at the broader picture. I mean, question I want to ask. In Western, we're moving into the age of Aquarius. What does Vedic think of the age? Does it even have an age change?
I think they agree with it because I watched Sam Jeppy. He kind of says the same thing. I think he says Aquarius, but I don't know for sure.
So here's the thing. David Palmer is mentioning this, and I agree with him, is that you don't want to be all out in the you don't want to be alone. You don't want to be out and be on the fringes. You want to be part of a group, but also be detached at the same time as well. So that's Aquarius. Because Aquarius flips. Either you're way much in the hood, kind of like CJ with the groups in the city and the Matrix, or you're basically a lone rebel out in the middle of nowhere doing God knows what. So I think it makes sense, Steve, to evolve yourself. You don't have to be a coder, obviously. Don't be a programmer, but know how to utilize technology and basically know how to get yourself ahead in general. I think that's the energy you should be moving towards, is being a lot more resourceful, like knowing how to interact with tools and stuff. I think interacting with tools, Steve, is going to be a really big thing.
I would be, if I went west, John, I would be on the cusp of Taurus and Gemini. So that deals with more technology because you're integrating both feeling good with being in your environment, connecting with your environment.
Yeah.
And, that's the deer.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in Omaha, remember I told you about the hunter? It was Ardra. It's the destruction. There's a flood. That's where my ascendant was when I was in college. So it was all about that destruction energy that I possibly could have felt. Wow, it's kind of interesting.
I hear you, man. Well, look, wow, we've been almost going for 2 hours, Steve. This is a really good talk. Let's see, did anybody actually ever respond? Did anybody in chat?
I don't think so. Not today, no.
You'll get some eventually. Oh, one watching now. I think that's me. Let's see.
No, I don't see anyone.
Why don't we close this up, Steve? We can talk about it after, right, man?
Well, do you have any closing remarks? Because there's quite
I
a bit.
think, Steve, is you gotta be the most higher. You gotta experience with your higher self. I say go with your heart, then go into your mind, and then go on. Because when you get stuck in your mind, you judge and you use logic, and you need to detach yourself.
I want to finish.
What?
Like the physical aspects, like I think that fitness could be a very useful thing. You know that guy, LinX? I was watching him. He does a lot of. He's like the reason he's so good at what he does, or he's very structured. He's a master at his craft, so that's why he's able to express it outwardly the way he does, because he personally knows it himself, and he knows how to do it the right way. He knows what he's talking about. When it comes to, I've never seen anyone who talks about fitness the way he does it. He's so specific. He covers nutrition, and he also does the exact exercises you got to do.
Right.
So I think being active, it's important. I think it's an important thing to do, to take care of your physical body. That could probably be a problem if you have too much Aquarius, or if you're like, that's one thing I would say about you, John. If you're going to be out and be philosophical. No,
not even that. It's also like I've been at screens. I tend to watch a lot of movies, and that's bad. I've noticed that. This is being out east, but
No, I've had the same issue about the screens and stuff. It's you want to make sure
That's the
that
thing,
you
I
are.
mean, when I was in Wisconsin, I barely interact with computers at all. Now I'm like, Carrie, I like Gabby's family, but they have like screens in every room, and it's too much. Like, just
You
too
know what I
many.
mean?
You just stop, like, too much.
This is why I like to be. I like the parks in general. This is one of the things I would probably miss if I moved away from Chicago or the area I'm in. There's a lot of greenery here. If you go all the way out to the Arizona, you're gonna find a lot of desert areas.
You don't know that. You don't know that.
Well,
They
there's
have
some greenery.
Yeah, there's some green places. I mean, as I said, Steve, I think again the best thing that I would say you do is save up a bit of money, rent an Airbnb for a weekend, and just see what it's like. Do
You
it
know,
for 4 days.
yeah.
4 days for the energy to sit in and not have you worried about leaving. Do that.
You don't have to live in one place forever either. You can also.
Oh, exactly. I mean, really, whatever. But again, whatever your spirit is calling you to go, that's where I would go. Wherever it feels the most light. Me, it was Wisconsin. That's where I felt, but now I'm out here for whatever reason. You know,
Minnesota is interesting too. Even though you're going up north, like the winters would be freezing, but during the warmer months, Minnesota and Wisconsin, even like Montana, Wyoming, if you go those areas, those are some really, really nature oriented places. There's a lot of good stuff you can have there. So I think that's it for today, but
all right, Steve.
Good
Well, look,
wrap
it's great talking with you, man. You're awesome, man, and I appreciate everything you have. All right, man.
yep.
You have a good
Thanks
one, all right, dude.
Yeah, thank you for joining it. It's a good one. Everyone who listened to this, man, that was a long one. Gonna end it right here, but I talked about all those nakshatras and everything, and man, I never talked that much in my life. Peace out.